Hey, happy Saturday. You are tuned in to the American Cream Show. I am your host, Hyacinth Henderson, and Cream is a financial educational show where we show you, teach you, lead you, guide you on ways to redefine the American dream on your terms with Cream. And Cream stands for credit, real estate, entrepreneurship, assets, and mindset. It is a beautiful day in sunny South Florida, and to my left I got my co-host, my main man, Tavaris, Big T as I like to call him. Tell the people what's on your mind.
Good morning, everybody. As Heisey just said, I'm Tavaris Jones, licensed stockbroker, licensed life insurance and annuity broker as well. And how y'all feeling today? How you feeling today?
Fantastic.
You got your makeup on, face done all up.
Ow.
Lips. What color that is on your lips?
It's a blend. It's a blend.
Oh, yeah?
So, a little something I put together.
Okay. I see the lights got you glossing and shining and what's that term y'all women use? Glowing.
It's the glow up. It's the glow. But you know the glow begins from within.
Okay, I learned something today.
Yeah, that glow begins from.
So it's not about the lights. It's not about the.
I mean that those play a part, but really and truly, everything that you see on the outside starts from the inside.
Oh, okay. So how can I get my glow up? Because I'm looking kind of dull next to you.
You got to eat you some more vegetables. You need some more vegetables and fruits and ginger, more ginger shots, right? But and you'll be all right.
Okay, cool.
Get your little tape. Did you last time you had a haircut? All right, let me bring it back.
Nah, look at you. That's that buddy love. That's that buddy love. She got her hair done this week, y'all.
Don't know how to act.
When the last time you got a haircut? Wow.
I know. I'm look at me acting all fancy when the fact is before today I don't think I had my hair done. It's been months.
Yeah.
It's been months before this week. But anyway, we're feeling good. This is the American Cream. I see we have some listeners on here already. Antonio commandeered the mouse, so I can't scroll down and give y'all shout outs. We'll come back to that when he comes back to us. But we're feeling good. We hope that you are feeling good as well, wherever you're tuned in at, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, the podcast. We pray that when you hear this message, you are feeling just as fantastic, if not better than we are feeling. And so today we're going to talk about making sure your foundation is set, right? The foundation. So when you hear the word foundation, Tavares, what do you think about?
A house. That's the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
Foundation, right? Because you can't build a house with a wobbly or a loose or a weak foundation, right? Because this is something that you plan to live in. You want your family. You want to bring all your nice furniture in. And of course, in the middle of the night while you're sleeping, you don't want the roof to cave in on you. So you got to have a solid foundation before you begin to bring any blocks, bring any windows, pick what color you want the house to be, the square footage, all that. You got to have that strong.
Now, I got to keep it real. So you're saying all this because you're advanced. When most people think of foundation, if you're a woman, you might be thinking makeup. You might be thinking color, right? Okay. Or foundation, you may be thinking roots. You may be thinking platform. I don't know that when I hear foundation, I hear the word house. I mean, you're absolutely correct. I see where you're going with this. But when I hear the word house, I think of size, bathrooms, view, location. And then when I hear the word foundation, I'm just saying what some of the people who are out there saying as well. I'm just being that, their voice, because I could feel their energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know
but since we're talking about money.
Okay.
And we talk about getting your foundation set for your financial future. Yes, a house and a foundation does what? It makes sure that the house is what?
It makes sure that the house will be able to, like I say, stand.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the legs of the house, if that makes sense. Just how the legs on the body is that's the foundation of the body, or the feet are the foundation of the body. And so the foundation of the house or foundation in real estate would be that strong setting, so you can set something strong on top of it.
And that's important because you know what, as I just stated, when I think of a house, the last thing I'm checking for really and truly is the foundation. Most people, we're thinking about other things, but it's so important because we could go out and say, you know what, I'm on the market, I want to buy a new house, and I go out looking at a house and it looks so good. It looks good from the outside. It has all the bells and whistles, all the things that I like. It's on the water. It has fruit trees. It has lots of windows and glass everywhere. And I'm like, okay, this is the one. And then we go through and we start getting the inspection reports, the appraisal reports and things like that. And the report comes back and says, oh, well, you know, this is a frame house. And in the real estate world, generally we buy houses that are CBS construction. Concrete brick is what CBS stands for instead of frame. Frame houses are usually older and the foundation isn't as solid. And so I get the report back and I'm like, oh my gosh, this house is a frame house. My insurance is going to be higher. It may not withstand the hurricanes and things like that in South Florida. The whole sea level issue, erosion, we may have some issues down the line. So I like that we're bringing this conversation to the Cream listeners about reminding us how important looking at the foundation is, because it don't matter how many windows or fruit trees the house got. If a hurricane come through and wipe me out, then I'm done for.
Right.
And so in your financial arena, in your financial life, if your foundation isn't set, one event can come through
and wipe it out
and wipe you out.
Another analogy would be relationships.
Absolutely.
You gotta have a strong foundation. When it comes to relationships, you don't want to just jump off of appearance. You don't want to just go off of we got, you know, the same favorite color in common. You know, you got to have that foundation, and it has to be strong to connect you to, so that way your relationship can weather the storm, because you're gonna hit some turbulence. You know what I'm saying? And when that turbulence comes, the strength of your foundation is gonna show.
That's
important.
Be exposed, right? I'm glad that you said that. It's very true. Oftentimes people get into relationships. First of all, they skip the dating phase.
Right.
It's like we like the same things. I talked to you on the phone twice. Now we go together, right? And so now we're in a relationship and we haven't taken the time to really build that foundation, because something that you said there are going to be issues. It's I think that's a natural part of being human.
Right.
And when you're two humans and you are coming together for the purpose of a relationship, I'm an individual, you're an individual. There may be some areas where we bump heads, but if the foundation is solid and if the foundation is set, then we don't have to throw out the entire relationship, because we remember what we built this relationship on, why we started, and things like that. So I like that. I like that you tie that into relationships.
So it seems like foundation is important in several areas of life. You know what I'm saying? So it's yeah. So let's
Even with makeup, your foundation is before you put all the other stuff on.
Oh, I don't know much about makeup, but that's why I wasn't able to make that connection earlier. That's why I just jumped right into the real estate sector. But foundation is important when it comes to makeup. Got it. Noted.
Right. Clothing. And so your foundation of your clothing, I guess, would be your undergarments, maybe?
Oh, that's very important.
Okay.
That's very important.
All right.
You don't want to have any holes and
holes. Or if you have holes and you don't have undergarments, then so if you have holes, because you might have a hole, but if your foundation isn't there, then they see it all.
Right.
You just wide open.
Right. You don't want that.
You don't want that. Okay. Nah. So now that reminds me of something I read today. Did you all hear about the Robin Hood? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Robin Hood. The Robin Hood issues that are going on right now. And I read, we're going to get into the article, but one piece that ties into foundation of the article says it was a 36-year-old software engineer, and someone went into his Robin Hood account without his permission and sold his Netflix shares. They sold his shares of Netflix and they liquidated $2,850 worth of his money. So in other words, his account got hacked, right? 36 years old, software engineer. So software engineers, how much do they make?
They engineers, and they're software engineers, which they're very in high demand. Yeah. So I would say on the low end, 80,000-90,000 on the low end. I would say
they make more than minimum wage, right?
Definitely.
Because they're engineers, so they're building something,
right?
And anytime you're building something or creating something, people find you to be of value,
right?
Don't let that go over your head. And then he's in the software industry, so he's a software engineer, so he is building something in the software industry, and we know how important software is. If we didn't know it before 2020, we certainly know it now, because we use technology and different softwares for so many different things. So he says, someone went into my account, they hacked my account and liquidated $2,850. And I was like, gosh, this is not a good thing. But then he said, What he said was, this is all of my savings.
Yes.
The $2,850 in his stock account that he had invested in Netflix was all of his savings. What do you say about that and foundation setting, and what comes to mind when you hear that? Because I'm thinking, wait a minute, you're a software engineer, 36 years old, and your savings amount, all you have is $2,850, and that may be okay because maybe you were just gearing up, you're building your savings. Maybe he's been listening to the American Cream, and he's like, okay, I've been listening to y'all, I'm building it up, I get it, I didn't have a savings before, and I'm not, it's not about the amount. Right. For me, it's about where he had his life savings. Right,
and that's the issue. That it goes back to that old saying: "It's not what you do, it's how you do." Right. And another old saying: "You got to crawl before you walk." Right. So, aside from the old sayings, what we're trying to say is the stock market is a good place to invest, or it can be a good place to invest, depending on where you are in life. Right. But timing is everything. That's not what you want to jump into. That's not the best place to start your investment. You first want to have that foundation set, i.e. you first want to have an emergency fund, right? You want to have money set to the side, so if something happens, i.e. with the stock market, your account can go up, your account can go down. So that's not the place to park your emergency money, right? So you want to have at least 6 to 8 months of expenses put to the side before you even start your stock market investing. Now, for him to be 36 years old and for him to have $2,800 to his name, the first thing that comes to my mind is two things that he shouldn't be doing. He shouldn't be in the stock market, and he shouldn't be pursuing women. I'm not sure if he's dating. It goes back to what I was saying last week. Two things he shouldn't be doing, right? Software engineer, so you went to school, you got your certificates, you got your degrees. Great, kudos to you. You put that time into yourself, and you started that race, but you're not finished yet, brother. You gotta keep going. You're almost there. You know, you got 28, so you about $7,000 away from that golden place. Right?
So he can't have no woman. He can't no company.
You're almost there. He close. He closer than a lot of people. You know, and you know, I'm pretty sure he's making a high salary, so he'll be able to, you know, hit that $10,000 goal in no time. You know, but like I said, you want to crawl before you walk, before you jump into the stock market, because once you put your money in there, it's like driving a car with no steering wheel. You don't control it. You know, you can do all your research all you want, but you can't control those companies that you're investing in. And it's nothing like not being able to control your money,
especially your life savings.
Yes.
If you need to save your life, what you got a stock market. What you doing today? So, you know, again, the $2,800 could be his life savings for a number of reasons. Maybe he just went through a divorce. Maybe he had a woman. Maybe he had over 10 grand and the woman wiped him out. Right? Maybe he's rebuilding. Maybe he just, you know, is coming back from a medical emergency. He had to use So I get that part. I don't know what the backstory is behind him having the $2,850 and that being all his life savings. I don't know what that is. So it's not about the amount for me. It's about where he put the money. So using the house analogy that we started off with, if the foundation is very important, that's when you set it, you lay the concrete. All my construction people, you know how you get the foundation in order. If you don't have your foundation in order, it sounds like it's the equivalent of him saying, I don't have my 6 months of emergency expenses set aside. However, Tracy says Tavaris will not let that 10K thought go. He will not. And y'all been in my inbox like TikTok about this $10,000.
It ain't going nowhere.
It's not going. And it's so interesting though. And you know what? Keep saying it, because some people hear it and some people don't. Someone actually inboxed me a mail earlier this week and said, 10 racks, I got that. And I started laughing. And he says, I said, Tavaris made that. You know, that's Tavaris' position, not mine. And he said, who was Tavaris? So I'm like, wait a minute. I said, wait, well, the video is a thumbnail of me and a guy, and we're talking, and there's what that caption is. So you didn't watch the video. And I said, Tavaris is my coach. He's like, no, 10. You know, you can even have 20. What's up? I said, so now you think I'm selling snatch on the internet? Man. Let me exit this conversation. He did.
You didn't tell me that part.
He did. He was like, I got 20. What's up? I said, let me just go ahead and just stop replying right now. This is what I get. So Tavaris, no, Tracy, he won't let it go. But that's his perspective. So back to the gentleman with the $2,850. He has $2,850. It shouldn't be in the stock market because he don't have the foundation set. It's almost like going out and saying, I'm going to buy a new house, I'm going to build a new house, and before you even lay the concrete, before you see the walls go up, before the windows come in, you start buying chandeliers, you start buying window panels and floor treatments and stuff. You don't know what may change. You haven't gotten to that part yet. And instead of you buying chandeliers that's going to sit and could possibly lose its value or not be the end chandelier by the time your house is built, your money would have been better spent in investing in making sure the foundation is correct. And so that's the point of why I wanted to share about this gentleman. So if the stock market is not where you keep your emergency fund, what is it for? It's for you to play. I always say the stock market is a rich man's game. Game is the operative word. It is a game. Like Tavaris said, it's like you in that car and there's no steering wheel. You don't know what's gonna happen. You can time the market, you can look at charts, you can do all your research, but at the end of the day, you don't have any control. So oftentimes, T, when I hear people, when I say, listen, you gotta have your 6 months of expenses, you gotta have your emergency fund, a common response that I'll hear is, I can't do that. 6 months? I'll never be able to do that.
I think that's a damper. You losing the game before it even starts, right? It all starts in your mental. You got to believe. And I had a call with somebody last night as well that connects to that emergency fund. So going back to the mental, and before you start something, before you do something, you got to believe it first. If you don't believe it, ain't no way impossible it's gonna happen. I was about to say something else about the curse, but there's no way possible that can happen
on the internet.
Yeah, my grandma probably watching.
Hey, Granny.
So yeah, thoughts are everything, right? And I'm here to tell you that you can do it. We as African Americans, right? I'm pretty sure an African American probably said that. A black person said that.
Mostly, yeah.
So black people spend the most out of all cultures of people. I think it's over $1 billion a year, right? That we spend out of pocket on, material items. It could be cars, it could be clothes, it could be vacations, but we spend the most money. But we have the less. We have less because we spend the most. We give it away to other cultures, right? And other companies. So we can do it. We just have to change our mindset on what we think about money, right? Instead of letting it go, let's pay it to ourselves. My granddad told me a long time ago, he said, son, do you like money? And I said, yeah, of course, I like money. Now, this was when I was spending all my money left and right. He said, I can't tell because every time it touch your hand, you get rid of it. And I was like, wow, okay. So, in other words, stop spending, and take it to the bank, until you get to that level where you got that nest egg of 6 to 8 months of expenses, and then holler at us. Give us a call, and we can show you what to do from that point forward. 305-825-1444.
I love that. I love when you share tips and wisdom from your grandparents.
Yeah. I spent a lot of time with them growing up.
Yeah.
Them and my dad. I have the world's greatest father.
Yes.
World's greatest father.
Yes.
By the way, but yeah,
that's good. I love that too. I love when I hear our people talk about their dads, especially black men. I love when you're connected to your father or you have a father figure and you honor them and you say, you know what, let's get rid of the bad rap that black men don't protect and they're not good. I love that. So thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
And sharing that, giving your daddy his flowers while he's here, so other people can hear you, because there may be someone who either doesn't honor their dad or maybe never had a dad, and someone who maybe had a baby and they're like, you know what, I ain't with that chick no more, I ain't want the baby no way, and they're about to be a deadbeat. And so to hear you say how you have the world's greatest father, and then to look at you and how you carry yourself and what you've accomplished in life, that's very important. So thank you for sharing that with us today. I love that. All right, so we're talking about the foundation. You're tuned into the American Cream. We are the Henderson Financial Group, a full service financial planning and investment advisory firm based out of Miami Lakes, sunny South Florida. And today we're talking about the importance of really just getting your foundation together, making sure it's set. You can have an emergency fund. You can do that. I love that you said it goes back to mindset. A few days ago, I had a call with one of my one-on-one clients that I do, it's like intentional financial planning. I don't like to call it coaching, but it's intentional financial planning. Someone said, this is what this is. I love that name. And he makes $320,000 a year. Now, last year when we spoke, I think he was making like $280,000. So he's got a pay increase. He makes $320,000 a year, and he was sharing some things with me and ideas. And I quite frankly said, you know what, I didn't say this, but I was thinking those is broke people investments.
Now he's ready to date. Side note.
He's ready to date.
He's ready to date.
Well, I don't know, T, because, well, you know his history, but now I'm going to catch you on that because he makes $320,000 a year. He could be spending $325,000 a year.
Yeah, I kind of jumped the gun because I know his
right, you know his situation. So I don't want you all who are out there listening saying, okay, if I make, no, because we see that a lot. People have a high income and your income does not equate to your net worth.
Right.
Him, on the other hand, he is aggressive with his putting away his nuts. I love him for that. I think that he's just such a brilliant person. He is constantly educating himself, and I'm like, you don't even realize how great you are. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so he came to me with these ideas that broke people are giving him to start businesses. And after some conversation, he said to me, he said, you know what, Hyacinth, I don't have nobody to have these conversations with but you. Let's talk more. We need to talk more. And I, that kind of took me back a little bit because I was like, wow, I took for granted these types of conversations that we have at the office. We have these conversations all the time. We may be in here, we talk business, and then we talk spirituality, we talk life. But when he said that to me, I was just like, wow, you know what, you're right. And so that was my little piece of encouragement to keep going. But also, the reason why I'm sharing this story with you is because your mindset is going to be affected by the environment that you are in. You may not think it. You may not realize it, but it happens. If you check your environment. So when we get to talking about money and finances and elevating and building wealth, we cannot do so without having the conversation about your mindset. Right. So therefore, when I come to you and I say, you know what? You have to have 6 months of living expenses before you are able to invest. You won't tell me that you can't. You'll say, you know what? It may be tough, but let me see if I can shift some things around. I had another call with another one-on-one client this week. And a month ago, she was spending all her money, self-employed, spending every dime. I logged into the portal and I'm like, wait a minute, you've saved $1,900 already for the month of October. For the month of October, she saved
10 days in.
Exactly.
$1,900 with 10 days in.
Exactly. And it comes from, she says, I know that you're going to be looking at my stuff. I know that we're going to have these conversations. I know, so I have to do better. So if you ever think that the people who you're hanging around and the conversations that you're having don't matter, think again. All you got to do is look at your life and where you are and say, listen, if I'm ready to go to a next level, you have got to change your environment. You've got to change the conversations that you're having so that you can stretch and be around people who are going to inspire you and encourage you to go higher. So 6 months of living expenses, gotta have it. Do whatever you have to do to put it away. Like I always say, if you gotta eat ramen noodles, eat ramen noodles. If you have to increase your income, increase your income. It can be done. But I don't want you to believe that that is out of touch for you. It's out of reach for you, because it's not. It is definitely your reality. And how do I know that it's your reality? Because you're listening to me say it right now. If this message wasn't for you, you wouldn't be hearing this. And because you're hearing this, that is confirmation that, you know what, I need to do this. That's that little sign that you all ask for. All right, so let's get back into Robinhood. As I was reading the Robinhood article, I saw that this gentleman, this 36-year-old software engineer, he wasn't the only person who had a breach, a data breach, a security breach, right? Not a data breach, a security breach in his account. There were other people. This other lady said that 450 shares of her stock was sold, and she had $10,000 in withdrawals pending. Like she wasn't in the app for one day. The next day she went into the app and she saw this happening, and she tried to reach out and call someone, and what happened?
Robinhood doesn't have a phone number. Could you believe that? Robinhood does, and I didn't even know Robinhood didn't have a phone number. I don't have any Robinhood accounts. Now that's what bothers me, right?
What do you mean bothers you? It bothers you that they don't have a phone number?
It bothers me that one can not do their due diligence about their money.
Okay.
Right? Because if I'm giving you my money, I need to be able to contact you some way, shape, or form. So whether it's the local bank, I got their number saved in my contacts in my phone. If I'm giving you my money, you have to be able to, and your hours of operation is very important to me, because I work a lot, I work long hours. So I need to be able to reach you when I need to reach you, not when it's convenient for you. Right? And I feel like that's on us as millennials, because what I mean by that is we are in love with nonverbal communication as millennials. When it comes to text messages and emails and DMs and stuff like that, we not so much to get on the phone type, and most millennials that's like the population of Robinhood, you know. So we probably didn't, as millennials, we probably didn't think to even think of the importance of having a phone number for Robinhood. Oh, it's just an app, you know. I probably just, you know, I am, you know, somebody about my issue if I have an issue. But it's really important to do your due diligence. You know what I'm saying? Before you jump into something, you want to look around. You want to before you take this pen, you want to check it out all over. You know, take the cap off. You know, make sure that it right. It's all like you want to look it around and make sure that it's a good fit for you before you just jump into it. You know, that's another aspect, the foundation, right? You got to test the water before you jump all the way in.
Yeah, you got to do your research. Do your research and ask these questions, because I know sometimes a lot of people get excited. We get excited. Oh my gosh, I could do it myself. I don't need an investment advisor. I don't need to contact the Henderson Financial Group. I can do it myself. And they made it so easy for me that I can do it myself from my phone that I have in my hand 95% of the day anyway. And we forget. It's kind of like you said, the foundation of a new relationship, right? Oh my God, he dressed nice, he's smelling good, he drive a nice car, he reads books, he's into spirituality, he likes the beach, all these things, and you haven't checked the background of some other things. You didn't do your due diligence, so now you're like, oh my God, I'm in this relationship and get me out quick.
He may not bathe.
He may not bathe. It's a lot of other stuff. I was gonna say something, but I'm doing better. But yeah, it's like get me out quick. And so I believe that's what happened with just technology. I'm not picking on Robinhood, but I believe that now that we're in this space where we want things instantly and we want the shortcut, because really what it's about, if I believe those who want to DIY it, do it yourself, you don't want to pay the cost. You know that if you call the Henderson Financial Group, we don't work for free. These lights don't just come on with our good looks. You know, Tavaris get a haircut, not an FP&L lady like, we'll keep it on for you. Nah, that's not how that works, right? So you have to ask yourself, what areas are you shortcutting yourself? And it may seem like you're shortcutting others, but you're really shortcutting yourself, because here it is. If you got your money invested, wouldn't you want to be able to pick up the phone and call somebody?
Definitely. And when you went back to that, you know, that zero commission at Robinhood, like I said, not to pick on Robinhood, but that brought me back to my Uncle Junebug growing up, right? So I had an uncle named Junebug, and he was just the Mr. Fix It for the family, right? Okay. He was the handyman, the quote unquote handyman for the family. So if you had a plumbing problem, you call Uncle Junebug, he come through and he'll, you know, put a Band-Aid or two on it to, you know, to give it a quick fix, to avoid you having to call the actual plumber. You know, if you needed something painted right quick, you call Uncle Junebug. And though we saved some money over the years on the initial transaction, but Uncle Junebug, oh man, I love you, but man, you know, he wasn't the best.
He was rigging it up.
Oh man, to the T. That goes back to, you know, you get what you pay for. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, and most of the times, it's best to seek a professional in whatever you're seeking. You know what I mean? And, you know, it's sometimes we shy away. We let the price, that goes back to price and value, right? So don't just be so focused on the fee or how much it's going to cost, but more so focus on the value that you're getting from paying that fee for the actual service. You know, let a professional be a professional, you know, and you be a professional at what you're at. Absolutely. And that cycle continues, you know. People patronize you because you're good at whatever it is you do. And once you make your money from that patronage, you didn't let that money cycle into other professionals, and that's how we keep the money flowing, you know.
Makes sense. I love that you said that. It made me think about something that dropped into my spirit earlier this week. Oftentimes people have this attitude that they don't want to pay people. Like, they don't want to pay the invoice. Like, it costs how much? They don't want to pay. They don't want to pay well, but they want to be paid well.
Say that one more time.
You don't want to be paid. You don't want to pay well, but you want to be paid well.
Is that even fair?
It doesn't work. It can't happen that way.
That's just like somebody being in a relationship and they want to receive love, but they don't want to give love.
Talk about it. We may have to change this into the relationship and money show. I mean, I can talk about relationships all day. But, you know, think about that. For those of you who are out there listening, the next time, you know, someone gives you a price, or you are grudgingly giving your money or paying for something that you know that you want or need or desire, and your energy is negative about it or low about it, and you don't really want to do it, ask yourself, do I want to be paid well? Because if you want to be paid well, if you want to receive, surely surely you have to understand the laws of nature, and I got to pay well in order to be paid well. So I don't question this your price, this your okay, this is what we're doing, because I know that when it comes time for me, I don't need that happening. So think about that and ask yourselves, what areas of my life am I grudgingly spending my money or investing my money? And so a good question to ask yourself is, what would happen if I change my language from, oh man, I gotta pay this, to, oh man, I have to pay this, or I get to pay this, excuse me. I gotta pay, I gotta pay the mortgage this month. I get to pay a mortgage this month. Different energy.
I think what you're saying is actually in the Bible. Do unto others as you want done to you.
It might be, it's been a while for me. I mean, I'm not. I read it, but I don't memorize the scriptures and the chapters.
That's when you put say, it is. That's when you just.
Oh yeah, Do it again. Do it again. Along with it. Oh, it is in the Bible. Yeah, I told y'all before, I believe that the Bible is basic instructions before leaving Earth. It really is like the GOAT, right? But really and truly think about that. Instead of, man, I gotta pay this, I get to pay it. And I'm able to pay it. The fact that you get to pay your phone bill means you have a phone. Yeah. The fact that you get to pay your cable bill means that you have cable TV. The fact that you get to invest your money in your retirement accounts means that you have a retirement account. Because if you didn't have those outlets, then you wouldn't get to fund them. And there are people who don't get to pay a rent or get to pay a mortgage because they're homeless. Yeah,
perspective is everything.
You got to shift it. You got to shift it. And we have to do these mind hacks with ourselves. We got to reprogram our mind. Something wanted to say mind games, but it's really not mind games. It's reprogramming your mind, because if you don't reprogram your mind, then you're just leaving that thing just open for anybody and everybody to program it and tell you who you are, tell you how you're going to operate, tell you what to believe. And you have to stand up for yourself and say, no, I'm going to do a reprogram, and I'm going to take the software that's in this CPU, the software is in this body, and I'm going to make a decision to reprogram it in a manner that advances me and gets me to where I want to ultimately go.
I like that. You preaching on that one.
I did. Can I get a little tambourine shake?
Yeah.
Shake a tambourine. Okay.
I like that. I like that. The reprogramming of the mind. Yeah. If you don't program it, somebody else will.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
Listen, people will tell you who you are all the time, just in casual conversation. You don't even realize it. And if you aren't firm, and if you don't know that, then you might be like, oh, well, maybe I am this type of person. Or maybe I am broke. Right? Somebody tell you broke, does that mean you broke?
Not at all.
Does that mean you're broke?
Not at all.
And nowadays people will call you broke because you don't wear your money.
You're right about that.
They will call you broke because you don't wear your money. So for those of you who, like me, don't wear our money, and people might be like, oh, you don't have your... Okay. So think about that. You gotta really think about who that. It goes back to who you're around and your mindset.
Yeah, that always baffled me about wearing your money situation.
Yeah, and people, if it floats your boat. But for me, listen, I'm not here to tell you what to like and what not to like. Do you make sure you're having an asset pay for your liabilities? Yeah. Because we know that clothes are a liability. Yeah. We know that you're going to grow. Things are going to go out of style, especially if you're buying the monogram stuff. It's in season now. It's not going to be in season in 3 months. So if you're doing those things, then you got to be able to, like, you know what? It don't really matter because my foundation is set. My investments are working for themselves. And now my assets are paying for my liabilities or things that don't grow in value. And I'm okay with that, because I don't believe that you should get up every day and just chase money to the point that you just want to chase it and let it stack. Like, you getting up and you're doing the work. You should be able to enjoy your money. But you have to know what season you're in. Are you in the season of enjoying your money? If you are, then okay, do what you need to do however you want to do, because can't nobody tell me how to spend mine. Right? And that should be the same for you. But when you have some knowledge and information, use the action to turn it into wisdom. Yeah. And how do you do that? You say, you know what? They make a great point. What Hyacinth is saying is, I could buy all the Louis, Gucci, and Fendi I want. Let me just make sure I got 6 months of emergency expenses first. Let me also make sure I got my retirement set. Let me make sure I got life insurance. Let me make sure I'm not around here wearing name brand, and then if something happens to me, they go funding me and selling tilapia dinners to bury me.
Yeah, priorities. Prioritize properly.
Yes.
Prioritize properly.
Yeah, it's okay, sis. Like, you could do all of that. You could do them all, but you got to figure out you know, how you're going to do it. I can. Can is such a powerful word. If you are not following the Cream Tribe Facebook and Instagram, I've been dropping gems on there. You might want to do that. Can is a powerful word. If you just start using that word in your everyday interactions, you will be surprised at how your life changes. I can is really you taking ownership and saying, I don't know what they said, but I can, and this is what I'm going to do. It becomes an affirmation. It becomes you directing your life instead of just letting life pass you by, and just instead of just saying, okay, well, this is what they told me to do. Stop letting people and circumstances tell you what to do and who you are. I can do X, Y, and Z, and you absolutely can. I can have 6 months living expenses. I can invest in the stock market. I can take 5 trips a year. I can build my children's emergency funds. I can leave a legacy for my children. No, that's not just for white people. No, that's just not for people who were born with a silver spoon in their mouth. Yes, I can change my tomorrow because I recognize that today is a direct result of old thoughts. Where you are today is because of the thoughts that you thought before. Do you get that?
Yes. And when you say I can, what you're doing is you are hypnotizing your subconscious mind.
That's right.
Just as if you say I can't, you're hypnotizing your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is the most powerful object or piece of your body, right? And it just sits in the background. And whatever you put out there, it records it. It's real subtle. It records it, takes it in, and what it does is it brings it to the forefront. Whatever you put back there is going to come to fruition. So you want to put and plant positive thoughts and positive actions about yourself, about your future, about your family, about your health, about your money. I repeat that, about your money. You want to put that into your subconscious. So then those thoughts then become things, right? Those thoughts that you plant in the back, they then become things that where you can, tangible, touch it, see it, taste it, and all that good stuff. It's really important, man. Real important.
Yeah.
A whole mindset shift can create a whole life shift.
That's that M and cream. You can't have no money without the right mindset. Yeah. Like you can have it may come and go, but lasting wealth and legacy, you got to have your mind right in order to do that. Because building a legacy and building wealth is a very intentional act. It's a very intentional act. It doesn't just happen. You want me to tell you why it doesn't just happen? That's the same reason that people who win the lotto, I don't know what the actual statistic is, but we know a large number of them, maybe close to like 90 or 95% of lotto winners, they're broke within the next 6 months to a year. Do you want to know why? Because they were not intentional about building that wealth and that legacy. So understand that winning the lotto doesn't make you wealthy. It just gives you a windfall. Winning the lotto doesn't make you wealthy. If you want to build wealth, create wealth, live a legacy, and leave a legacy, you got to be intentional about it. That means intentionally saying no to some things, intentionally saying yes to others. That means that when you open up your social media timeline and everybody is talking about some lower vibrational stuff that may be going on in the news, and Tavaris just told you that your subconscious mind is so powerful, and you know that you need to focus on this project or your business or whatever it is that you need to focus on, some education, you know that you may open that, you may do a slight thumb roll, and if you see 2 or 3 talking about, go ahead and exit out, because you needed to be handling your business anyway. But we don't have to. You can choose not to scroll social media and be programmed unknowingly. Have your subconscious mind programmed to what all the noise that's going on in the world that quite frankly ain't making you no money. It ain't making you not $1, dime, or donut.
So if it's not making you no money, it's definitely wasting a whole lot of your time.
Yeah. Right. And then it brings you down vibrationally. You know, I'm big into energy. Yeah. Now you don't know why you feel like this. It's because you done put so much poison into your energetic realm and into your subconscious mind within the first 5 minutes of the day just by scrolling social media.
You done blew your whole day, whole 24 hours gone.
Yeah.
Because you took the wrong first step.
So imagine if we flipped that. Imagine if we said, you know what, we understand that our mind is like a garden. We understand that our mind is like a computer that we get to program. Imagine if we said for the first 5 minutes of the day, we are now going to just lay in the bed and open our eyes and start saying, I can accomplish my goals. I can create 5 social media posts today. I can create my budget today. I can save $15 a day. I can do this. If you just start your day with the I can statements before you do anything else, even before you brush your mouth, before you brush your teeth, if you sit there and do 5 minutes, let's even do 3 minutes, 3 minutes of I can statements, you are setting your day up for radical success. And I'll tell you, those little small steps and the small things that you do, when you look back, it's like a piece of the puzzle. You may be putting this one little piece here and one little piece there, but when you take a step back, you're like, oh my gosh, this piece plus this piece, this step plus this step has painted this large picture. It's put together this big puzzle. So everything that you do every day, the things that you do, they matter more than you know it. And now's the time. Like, we getting ready to go into 2021.
Yeah. So those daily affirmations that you were just speaking on, those I cans, those morning I cans, and that morning positivity that you're preaching to yourself, what that also helps you do is it takes it from the subconscious and is breaking through the conscious, which is in the front. And once you break through the conscious is like a brick wall, right? Once you get through that brick wall, that's when things just start changing, because your belief system has shifted. You know, you were hypnotizing yourself to try to change your belief. Now, once you put those I cans in, you then break through that conscious mind, which is the brick wall. And then once you start to believe something, your actions start to show that you believe it. And once your actions is what create a reality. You know, once you then putting your feet to the pavement, you changing things, you shifting now.
I love that. And you know what, Tavaris, picking up on what you said, you can start when you break through that subconscious and go into the conscious mind. So you start your day with your I can statements. How about this? How about your midday affirmation? You switch to I am statements. Because you already done started with I can. You know exactly what you can do. And now it's been about 4-5 hours since you've been up doing all the stuff that you said that you can do. You've been doing that already. So now when you do your lunch break, you take 3 minutes and do your I am statements.
Talk to 'em.
Because you have that momentum that's flowing from your I can statements already. So now I am a master manifester. I am rich. I am wealthy. I am a boss. I am a creator. I am whatever it is that applies to you in your life. Now you can switch to that and then watch how your life changes. I guarantee you do that for 21 days. You're going to be on a completely different level. People that you knew before, people who you were spending your time with before, when they see you after this 21-day period of doing your I can and I am affirmations every single day, no matter what, they're going to be like, dang, you changed. And what you going to say? Good. Thank you.
Change for the better.
Thank you.
Change for the better.
I changed, and you can too.
Yeah, I can show you how.
I can show you how. It's so powerful. Listen, you got to command command your day and create your reality. I'm a firm believer in that. You got to create your reality. All of us are living different experiences. What's going on in your reality is completely different from mine. I had to realize that when I don't get up and watch the news, I don't know what's going on, and that's okay, because then I can focus on what I need to be focusing on. I can focus on my focus. All right, let's talk about another article that I read. It talked about the FDA issuing a warning to herbal medicine companies offering COVID-19 products as like, okay, this can cure you for COVID-19 or preventative. And so the FDA recently said, listen, we're issuing these stern warnings. You can't do that. We don't want you to do that no more. Why do you think they did that?
Because they ain't getting no money.
Yeah.
It's all about money.
It's always about money. So I believe, and remember I said before, what I believe is my belief. It doesn't have to be your belief. I am just sharing my belief. You may put it in your back pocket if you want, put it in the front of your little Theodora if you want, do what works for you. If take it or leave it. But I believe that healthcare and medicine is a big business. If I keep you sick, if I keep you in fear, then you have to continue filling your prescription medication, because you know that prescription medication does not cure the illness.
It maintains.
It masks the symptoms.
So
let me say that again. Prescription medication does not cure the illness. It masks the symptoms. So when I hear the FDA saying, listen, I'm issuing a warning to y'all herbal remedy people, y'all can't say that no more. You can't say that. I immediately think business. And I'm going to tell you, like I tell my children, I don't have to preach it to them anymore because they already know how we rocking and rolling at the Queendom. But I said, do you think our ancestors had CVS on the corner?
Right. Now, is this the same FDA that approved foods to be sold in a grocery store that's not really food? Do you know how many foods are sold in the grocery store? It's not even real food.
Yeah.
It's the same FDA that approved that, but they will disapprove something that's natural, something that's from the earth.
Why? Why you think that is? I remember you told me like my favorite hood memory, like when I'm stressed or I am an emotional eater. I like to eat, right? I'm doing better with that, eating more vegetables, right? But one of my hood memories is the little cheap $1 Totino's pizza, right?
Yeah.
Tostino's pizza.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so it's just like that moment. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go to Publix and get me a Tostino's, put that thing in the oven. I know it's like cardboard, but it's gonna take me back, remind me where I've been, and then give me the encouragement and motivation to continue to go forward. And Tavaris is like, yo, we had somebody who worked for the company.
Yes,
and
worked for the company.
Tell the people what you told me, and I ain't bought one since.
Basically, that company or that Totino's pizza is not real food. It's just they put a taste on it to make it taste like pizza, but it's not real food. And they sell it in the grocery store.
Yeah.
What food is sold for? Human beings eat it every day. A lot of college students eat it every day. They survive off of Totino's, but that's not real food.
It's not real food. And to be honest with you, they don't really do such a fantastic job of making it taste like pizza, because if I'm going to tell the whole truth, when I get it, I got to put some of my own seasoning on. I got to put some more cheese. I got to put some Italian seasoning, some fresh garlic, and I kind of spruce it up. But it's that memory of me like, okay, I remember when I had a freezer full of Totino's.
I think that's the white tablecloth for you that add all that.
Yeah, y'all know I need white tablecloths.
Yeah.
I like restaurants with white tablecloths and real silverware. Yeah. But we're going to get back to this understanding money. We're going to get back to this cream. So think about that. And it's interesting because and everything that we have going on this year as far as health and wellness and stuff like that, we don't hear a whole lot in mainstream media about prevention. We don't hear a whole lot about herbs, about remedies and things. And I really want you all to think about, like I told you, I used to tell my children all the time, our ancestors didn't have CVS and Walgreens. So you're going to do this, what I'm telling you to do, and you're going to be all right, because that's how they made it through, and that's how we're able to be here, right? So think about the fact that, let's just go back to, I remember marijuana was illegal, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And the jails are filled with our people and people who are sitting on marijuana charges, people who have missed large chunks of time with their families, with their offspring, with their children, because of a marijuana charge, and now all of a sudden it's legal and it's cool, and let me show you how to go into marijuana business. What do you think about that, Tavaris?
It's very touching. Coming from where I come from, it's very touching, and I can relate so much to it. Seeing so many fatherless homes because of the decisions of the judicial system of the country that we live in, right? So they penalize you for the selling of marijuana, when you poor, you're behind the 8 ball, so you got to do what you got to do. Then you get out there and do certain things, not condoning it, not approving it, right? But it happens, and it happens on a large scale. And then fast forward, now you got people that don't look like us, that are able to capitalize on something that we were very good at in the past, that we kept the lights on, we paid the bills, we were able to feed our families by doing, and we got penalized for it and punished for it. And now you got a whole nother group of people that are like eating really good off of it. And not only that, but they kind of like blackball you from getting in, set these high restrictions or set these high standards for you to be able to enter that game where you may have, I would say the country that we live in may owe you, because what you got penalized for is now legal and people are making really good money off of it. I feel like they should let that person in.
You think so?
Yeah,
but it's all about the money.
But it's not about what I should. I guess that's if I ruled the world. That Nas song, Nas and Lauryn Hill. If I ruled the world, it'd be a perfect place. But hey.
And really, it's not about right and wrong.
Right, it's about money.
It's about money. And so I'm bringing these stories up, and these are real news stories, things that are really happening. You can Google it. If you didn't know about the Robin Hood issue, if you didn't know about the FTA, you can Google it, and you'll educate yourself as well. But I'm bringing them up because I want you to understand. I really want you to not even just understand. I want you to understand with everything in you. I want you to understand that just because something looks a certain way doesn't mean that it is what you believe it to be. You got to dig deeper. There's a better way. You have to pull back behind the curtain and say, okay, if I know that it looks like this, what is the money part of it? And what are they really trying to do? What's the message that they're really trying to get out? And understand, I'm going to tell you right now, if it's all about the money, the system in our world is just not designed to tell the masses how to become wealthy. It's just not that way. I mean, when I first started in the business, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they aren't teaching this in schools. I used to go to schools, summer camps, everywhere. I'm going to teach. And I had to stop and realize it's not by accident that they aren't teaching this stuff in school.
It's by design.
It's by design. And so now you, with your grown self or your grown children, now that you are aware of this, you're like, you know what? Let me figure out what else I don't know. Let me figure out what's about the money and how can it work for me, because they only going to keep you where they want you unless they feel like you're valuable resourceful wise when I'm talking about money. And if they don't feel that way, they're not going to really tell you a whole lot. They like what you bringing to the table. What are you bringing to this conversation? So I want you guys to think about that and really understand that it is your duty and your responsibility to do what you're doing now. You're tuned into Cream. Do what you're doing, educate yourself, and then take the action. Change your life, change your world so that you can really move and go to the next level. One of the things that I didn't share about the Robin Hood story was back in June, a 20-year-old committed suicide because he was trading options, and he looked at his account and he had a debit balance of $730,000. A 20-year-old. So he committed suicide. He was like, how am I going to pay $730,000? I'd rather die. I'd rather die.
So the first thing that comes to mind when you say that is fiduciary.
Okay, so break it down for the people, because you be speaking advanced. What is fiduciary in plain English?
Fiduciary is to put the needs of others before yourself, right? The direct needs of somebody else, you want to put those first, and then you put yourself on the back end. So in order to do that, right, it has to be a large level of trust involved, right? A large level of, okay, I know you and I know what you're ready for and I know what you're not ready for. Kind of like, having a kid. And your kid like, hey, mom, or hey, dad, like, I'm ready to start driving now, or I want my own car now, can you buy me a car? And that kid, what that kid is ready for. When you got your responsible son, right, he do his homework without having, without you having to ask him, he do his chores, do all that good stuff, right, without you having to ask him. Then you got the other son that's like, man, you got to keep an eye on him, you got to keep some, you might have to keep some bond money to the side for him, he might be that one. So I think that's what fiduciary steps in, where where the lack of fiduciary on these apps that allow you to trade, options and to trade different stock and stuff like that. Options isn't for everybody. The stock market isn't for everyone. And then option is just like, that's stocks on steroids. So it's not for everybody, and it's good to have a professional to step in and say, hey, these are the risks involved. And before we get to that, let's crawl before we walk. Let's do this first. Let's get this foundation together first. And then we can work our way towards that. Let's make that a long-term goal, right? And let's break down some shorter-term goals that's going to get us to that end result goal, right? So the fiduciary, man, is really important.
And what Tavaris is saying is that's exactly what we do at the Henderson Financial Group. We baby step our clients. It's like, yeah, you come here, I want to trade options. Okay, but we got some stuff to do before that. And if you don't want to crawl before you walk, we just not going to do it for you. Like you got to go somewhere else, because it's for your own good. It's for your own good and your own safety, because as Tavaris said, it's like stock market on steroids. Yes, per the internet, per Google, you can make a lot of money. You can also lose a lot of money quick, very, very fast. And then who you gonna blame, right? And so it goes back to really thinking about what you're good at, who you are, and what you know. And here's the thing with Google. I have this love-like relationship. I want to say love-hate, but this love-like relationship with Google, because here's the thing. When we sit here and we Google things, we only see what Google tells us, right, based on the phrase that we Google. Yeah. If you don't have the education and the wisdom, you don't know if there's another 95% of the picture that you're not seeing, because Google is only going to show you what you asked it to show you. Right. Can you make a lot of money in options? Yes, you can make a lot of money in options. Look at all these articles of people. Look at all these success stories. Now you on Robinhood trading options and don't know nothing about it, because that 95% that you didn't ask Google about, you didn't even know what to ask Google about. You didn't even educate yourself on that. So then things like this happen where you're not educated enough to know, okay, you don't really owe $730,000. Like, that's not how that works. But you're not educated. So listen, be good and be great at what it is that you do. You should be consistently continuing education in your respective fields and the areas. We all have gifts. The Creator put gifts in all of us. So you should be perfecting and refining your gifts. And then if you realize that stocks and financial financial planning and options is not one of those gifts, like you, that it don't come natural to you, is you like up with a cup of coffee at 3 a.m., eyes bloodshot red, and you think you got it, but you don't really got it, call us. That's not one of your gifts. You have to operate in your gifting and your giftedness so that you can continue to help those people. And while you help the people that you're operating with in your giftedness, you're going to be compensated for that. How are you compensated for that? With money. That's how that works. But if you're not compensated to the level that you think you deserve to be compensated, that's because you are not operating in your giftedness. Let me say that again. You might be operating in somebody else's giftedness. You might be chasing and running around, and you're like, why I'm not getting this money? Stay over here. This the seeds I planted into you. You got to water these seeds and cultivate these seeds, and then you ain't going to never have to worry about money. You're going to have so much money, you're going to be like, okay, I could do whatever I want to do with it now. Let me call the Henderson Financial Group, give them some of the fruits of my labor, so that they can then operate in their giftedness, right, and double, triple, multiply the fruits that I gave them.
Right.
But if you way out of order and you trying to jump over here and there, then you're losing yourself. You're like you're on the hamster wheel, and you wonder why you're not getting nowhere fast.
Keep your eyes on your own paper.
On your own paper, on your own seeds, on your own gifts.
Keep your eyes on your own paper.
Yeah.
Remember when we were in school and the teacher would hand out a test? Right, so you got this. Each row have a different form. So you got this row may have form A, the next row may have form B, right? And you didn't study for the test. So when you get your test, you looking over here to your neighbor. Mind you, he got a different form. You know, and the teacher in the background saying, "Keep your eyes on your own paper, students. Everybody, keep your eyes on your own paper." Yeah. But you still copy down the exact thing that your neighbor put down. The exact thing. You turn in the test. Next day, you get your test back. Your neighbor got an A. You got an F. Right. Why? Because you copied exactly what they put down, and they had a different form. Same thing happened with life. You cannot copy what somebody else is doing, what your best friend is doing, your cousin, your mom, your auntie, your grandma. You can't copy somebody else's life. In life, you got to keep your eyes on your own paper, i.e. keep your eyes on your own life. Do what works best for you. Because when you copy somebody else, that's when you get an F in life. An
F. And if you had one of them teachers who was like, and she knew that she gave the different roles, and based on your answer, she went, because she had extra time on her hands at night, right? So she went back and she was like, I know that you copied Tavaris sitting next to you because your answers match the row, and I remember who was sitting next to you. Now you got to go through all this lashing, this information, why you did this. Like, you got to explain yourself. You got to take the punishment. Why you do that? Yeah. Like, you can avoid all of that. You can avoid all of that by realizing, hey, let me do me. Let me stay right here in this lane. And it may seem like a slow road, and it may seem like a lonely road, but I promise you, if you stay operating in your giftedness, if you keep your eyes on your own paper, as Tavares said, before you know it, you're going to get at your destination. Look, we already only 2 months left of 2020. We were just in the beginning of 2020. Before we know it, if we keep waking up every morning for the next few months, 60 more days maybe, right? Then we're going to be in 2021. So that's just how quickly time flies, and just how quickly small steps each day. 1 day becomes 10 days. 10 days becomes 2 weeks. 2 weeks becomes 3 months. And before you know it, you saying Happy New Year 2021. You remember what you was doing New Year's Eve 2020 into 2020?
No.
You don't remember?
No.
Oh, child, I remember. That's a story for another day. I remember big time. So listen, if you're on here, if you enjoyed today's show, do us a huge favor. It don't cost you nothing but your time to listen in. Please hit that share button. Share it on your timeline. Share it in instant message. Share this information. There are some people that are around you. There are some people that are on your page. You want them to have this information as well. We all have to grow together. And an easy way for you to do that, and it doesn't cost you a thing, is to hit that share button. Do not be concerned if they don't like your post. They saw your post. And most of the times people will see your post, listen to your post, and you may be having a casual conversation next week or 2 weeks later, and they're gonna say, oh yeah, remember on that video I've been doing the I can statements that you shared that video. You're gonna be like, what? I ain't even know you liked the video. Yeah. You know what I mean? So share it. Share. We appreciate you. You are listening to the Henderson Financial Group. This is the American Cream Show, a financial educational show. And in case you didn't know, because every day somebody's always like, I didn't know you had a podcast, but I found it and I binge listened to all your episodes. And oh my God, this is so refreshing. So I do have a podcast. It is titled, guess what? The American Cream. The American Cream. And you can find it on all podcast platforms. forms. I think the most recent episodes talk about really how to build a savings account and how to build an emergency fund. So go back, listen to it. I promise you, I'm not lying to you and making it sound fly to you. I am giving you some tools that you can actually take and take actionable steps to build you a new financial future. So that is the American Cream. If you're on YouTube, you can look me up, Hyacinth Henderson on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. I also post content to my YouTube page. And then also we have the Cream Tribe, Instagram and Facebook, where we are doing a 31-day no credit card October challenge. So today is what, the 10th? Today's October 10th. So we're 10 days in to the 31-day challenge. Easy stuff that you can do. If you're just joining us, don't worry. You can do everything today and be prepared for tomorrow. But just wanted to share some extra resources so that you can truly change your life. You can truly unlearn and relearn. You can reprogram your mind and do what it is that you deserve to do and what it is that you desire to do. Because as I stated, you absolutely can. T, you want to say something to the people?
I mean, you said it all in a nutshell. One thing I want people to think about this weekend is going to be understanding, right? The definition of understanding. And that's going to be seeing things for how they are instead of how they should be. Seeing things for how they are and how they should be instead of how they should be. Or
how you want them to be? Yeah.
No, seeing things for how they are instead of seeing things of how they should be. Because right now we see, like with the whole FDA situation, how, you know, when they try to step in and ban certain things. So basically money is really important, right? It shouldn't be, but it is. And that's why I feel like, you know, we have to get that understanding that it is important. And once we know that it's important, once we have that understanding that money is important, then we'll act like money is important, right? So we'll start saving, we'll start doing right by our money. And I feel like that right there alone would take us to the next level as a unit, as a whole, right? So understand money is really important.
I like that. So that's like people saying, well, it shouldn't be, that's not fair. It shouldn't be about the money.
See it for what it is, instead of how it should be. No,
that's how it is.
Yeah,
this is where we at.
What you gonna do about it?
What are you going to do about it? It puts the earnest back on you to take some action.
There you go.
I love that.
It's all on you.
Yes, it's all on you. All right, really quickly, let's give some shout outs. We got Miss Denise Ward. I saw earlier you were on the bike trail. Shout out to you. Keep riding that bike. That's some good exercise, and it's easy on the knees. So shout out to you, Miss Ward. Aaron Harris is back here sticking and staying. I appreciate it. My girl June Daney always rocking with me, and she takes action. June takes action. We'll have a casual conversation and she'll say something. I'm like, okay, you got this. I'm like, you really listening. Yeah. And so I love her for that. Miss Redhead, thank you for being here. Damian Nelson, Erica Owens, DeLawrence Moore, thank you all so much for being here. June says, check the foundation mindset. That's a whole word. Yes, ma'am. Rico Blondette. Hey, Mr. Blondette. Miss Dorothy George Henderson. How are you, Miss Dorothy? Tracy, he's always tuning in. Tavaris, he's not going to let you go about that 10 racks before you hit the sack. he ain't letting you go with that. All right, Miss Sylvain, thank you for being here. Mary Whitehair, that sounds like a new name. Thank you so much for being here and for commenting today. John Blondette, thank you for being here. Mathanician, K Mathanician. I don't got my glasses on, so I can't really see the rest. But thank you for being here. Parnell, Mayman, P. Victor, thank you so much for being here. And June, yes, she says, I'm going to do the I Can. I love it. I love it. Tracy, another home run show. Be blessed, both of you. Thank you all so much. It's really about you. We are here for you. We get up early on a Saturday morning so that we can come here and share and educate and enlighten. So do us a favor, hit that share button, tune into the podcast, and we will see you next week. Peace.
Take care.